we go. Thank you.
Thanks, Slackbot.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds? Welcome to another overdubbed episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 323, recorded on Sunday, June 13th, 2021. Tonight, we're going to be discussing another Patreon pick. Sorry. This one was chosen by Jose, who was a guest on last week's show. Big shouts outs and thank you to Jose for picking A Bay of Blood for us to discuss from 1971. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got our boy, Randy Gandy G. Landy. What's up, man?
Oh, baby, how you doing, baby? You want to go swimming in the nude, baby?
You know I always do. Is that your Italian accent?
That's whatever that woman. I think that it was Italian by way of Germany, which ends up sounding Swedish in my Southern American dialect. That's the best I can do.
Yeah.
You are baby.
That's an Italian voice actor trying to put on a German accent while speaking English
for an American. English.
For an English audience.
For an English language.
That's wow. Yeah.
American. Yeah.
That is some confusing.
That's a lot of layers.
Shit.
And then I'm a piece of white trash from Florida trying to do that. So it's not going to work out. It's just not.
You're from Northeast Florida. You're used to skinning asses raw with chainsaws. That's what I hear.
Hell yeah.
That's what I hear. Last but not least, calling in from my immediate left, we got our boy Soju. What's up, man?
What up, it's your boy, Miss Scusi Stains. I don't speak a lot of Italian, boys.
That's about the only
vocab is
thing.
limited.
The only thing we know.
Ain't you already been to Italy before?
That's all we could say.
I've been there. I know all the ancient history and dialects.
Ancient history. What about recent history?
Nope, don't know anything about
that. All right, I'll get you a book.
Thanks.
What are you sipping on there, Juicy?
Dude, Pepsi Blue from the fridge of Blurb. Pepsi Blue, dude. I drank this and it immediately tasted like Bob's 9th grade.
You tasted my 9th grade.
I did.
I feel like that's probably not the most delicious taste, just on description alone.
I then added some coconut rum to it to spice it up a scotch. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, you'd have to. You would have to.
My 9th grade probably tastes like dirty hacky sacks and those like metal chain ball necklaces people used to buy from fucking Hot Topic.
Oh yeah.
That's about what my 9th grade year tasted like. You're welcome. Let's jump into some housekeeping real quick. Here is another reminder. We got our July poll pick posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this July. The theme for July is Hot Blood Summer. 3 movies to vote between are Independence Day, Jaws, and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Bob, how are those numbers looking so far? Baby, how are those numbers looking so far?
That's my boy Randu over there. Jaws is still in the lead. It is followed by I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then Independence Day.
Jaws in the lead. Surprise, surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Make sure
to win its finest prize yet. A spot on this show.
Us talking about it for 2 hours. Get your votes in before the end of June. We'll see what we're talking about this July. In other Patreon news, we dropped another mini cast If you support us at the $10 level or above, you get access to a bunch of Patreon exclusive content. We got about 40 bonus episodes up there. Most recently, Juice and I were reviewing Mortal Kombat.
Whoa, get over her.
Get over her.
Oh God, yes, come with me.
That's the new Scorpion tagline, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
God. Yes.
They retired. They retired. Get over here, and they're now employing. Oh God, yes, come with me. I've heard this. It's on. That's the E3 announcement. Take it to the bank. What
That's
can I
right.
say?
Look at the new compilation of MK footage coming to Straight Chilling YouTube with that pasted in.
Sub-Zero just says, "Be prepared to be bedazzled" over and over.
Yeah, and then he freezes you. That's how that goes.
Oh my
Every
God,
time.
I might need to actually take the time and effort to put that together.
Do it.
That's just getting me good.
Oh, that
Well-
Pepsi Blue is really kicking in.
Yeah, I guess
It's,
so.
it's the blue, certainly not the rum.
Blues over boys, right, Bob?
Malibu. It's a Malibu.
Malibu.
Yeah. Damn.
Getting
I just
white girl wasted.
I just named your terrible drink. Be proud of me, Dad. Be proud.
Well done. Well done.
I'm always the ditty around here. I don't know what's up with that.
I was saying that to the ether, not to you. Come on, put that head
Alright.
back in its head hole.
God damn. Anyway, if you want to hear Juice and I talk about Mortal Kombat, you can find it on Patreon. Also in Patreon news, we got to give shout outs to a brand new Patreon
Okay.
supporter. Big thanks to Tyler In for signing up and showing us some love on the Patreon. Every dollar you guys contribute goes right back into the show, and we really do appreciate it. It means a lot to us. As is tradition around these parts, we owe Tyler the Straight Chilling salute. This one goes out to Tyler.
Slap me in the ass.
Oh yeah.
Thank you,
Slap me
Tyler, for
in
slapping us
The ass, Tyler.
and
All of us.
around the ass.
The
Thank you.
asses.
Thank you.
Mhm. We like our drinks blue and our asses red. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Let's not include we in the blue thing. I do not.
we
support
all
or
do.
Condone
We
the use of the blue.
the old Pepsi Blue. You got to sip on the blue while you're watching your blues. You got to do it.
No, you don't.
What
It was
else?
retired explicitly to prevent that.
No, we don't. We got one more bit of Patreon news. Actually, this is a big one. This is the only way you can pick a movie outright for us to review. That's right. We're reopening the You Pick the Flick tier on Patreon.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. So if you're a new listener to the show, every quarter we open the You Pick the Flick tier on Patreon. There's only 5 spots available, and it's first come, first serve. They typically go very quick. Within the first couple minutes, we open the tier. They're usually all grabbed up. It is the only way you can pick a movie for us to review on the show. Whatever you want us to talk about, you pick it, we talk about it. We're going to reopen that tier on Sunday, June 27th. And just like we've done the past couple times, it's going to be opened at an undisclosed time of day. You're just going to have to check in randomly on Patreon on Sunday, June 27th, and it'll open eventually, and grab a spot if there's one available for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like to take a
Yep.
second to say rest in peace to Heidelberg's epic streak
Epic.
that lasted
streak.
years. People have
It's like watching
fought-
Goldberg go down. It's just
Yeah.
hard to see.
fought and clawed over this You Pick a Flick tier, and somehow over the years, Heidelberg has got one every time due to a new rule that we implemented this year. He can only have 2 pick, or anybody can only have 2 picks a year, even though we open
Yeah.
it 4 times a year. So that ends Heidelberg streak. That shit was epic. Like,
baby.
I don't know how he got that every time.
Yeah, and also he was a super gentleman this last time he grabbed it and he donated his pick, which he didn't have to do. He did it out of the kindness of his heart, and yeah, it was really nice of him.
What a gentleman.
Gentleman.
The truest of gentleman of all.
So mark your calendars. Sunday, June 27th, we are reopening the You Pick the Flick tier. That's all we got for Patreon news. Juice, do you have anything going on?
We got a little bit of YouTube news. Last week, after our last episode on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, a new video dropped. That was our first ever tier list So if you've seen those videos where people take something and they kind of rate them all on a tier list, me and Bob tried it out for the Conjuring universe. So since the newest Conjuring 3 came out, Devil Made Me Do It, we decided to tackle all 8 of the Conjuring universe films and just kind of rate them on our own little scale that we put together. And it's about 25 minutes long, going through. We kind of talk about each movie a scotch. Not in depth or anything, but yeah, we cover the whole universe. So if you're curious how we feel about it up to this point, you can check that out at youtube.com. Oh, yeah.
Not to spoil, and I don't want you to spoil the whole thing, but where does Annabelle Scared Stupid fall in?
Annabelle drops a deuce. That's on the low end there.
Yeah, it's towards the bottom. Towards the bottom.
Yeah, not good. But again, you can find that on youtube.com/straight chilling podcast, where you can also find this wonderful video of me sipping Pepsi Blue. So if that's your thing, it'll be up there as well.
It should be your thing.
That.
I hope that's your thing.
It should be your thing.
That's a very
That's
specific
the
thing.
new
I
hot
hope it's
thing
yours.
is watching people drink Pepsi Blue.
He's doing it. He's really doing
If
it.
you want to be cool,
Wow.
that's your thing. So that's my house is clean.
Last thing I want to say is big thanks to everybody that hung out this past Friday for our Joe Bob watch party. We got one more watch party coming up this Friday, June 18th. It's going to be the season 3 finale. If you'd like to join in for the season 3 finale, it happens at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We host a Zoom watch party. We got a chat going. Everybody's talking about the movies you're watching. It's a lot of fun. We post a link to join in on that just before showtime. Again, that's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Friday, June 18th. And that's it. Our houses are clean.
This house is clean.
It's time to get into the main event. We're talking about A Bay of Blood, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob, this was on Shudder, so I'm sure you didn't purchase that box.
I bought this before Shudder was a thing.
Okay. Is it? Oh, we'll get into that in just a second then. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So yeah, A Bay of Blood. Again, thanks to Jose for picking this via our You Pick the Flick tier. This is from 1971. Runtime is about an hour and 24 minutes. This was written and directed by Mario Bava. Stars a whole bunch of people with fancy Italian names that I'm not going to try and pronounce.
Giuseppe Zaccarelli is in this film. I saw that name and I was like, has anything more Italian ever existed than this name while a smiling yellow dune buggy drives a dude with a poodle haircut around? Nothing
That's,
has ever been more Italian.
That's my boy Randu over there. He's fluent in the language of Italia. Randu. Anyway, I do have the
Get himself going.
that shit's so funny to me.
Oh, Randu.
Randu can
God
do.
damn, I am funny.
I got the Arrow video copy of A Bay of Blood over here. This is from the back of the box. They came to play, they stayed to die. See the film that set the slasher movie blueprint. Can you handle the terror of Mario Bava's giallo classic, A Bay of Blood? When a rich countess is murdered, it's a race to see who will inherit her estate, and you can bet that the body count is going to rise rapidly in the process as the plot twists spin wildly out of control. The pile of bloodied corpses is going to get higher and higher as one by one the mangled victims are hung, speared, stabbed, and macheted. 13 horrific murders turn the screen crimson with blood. 13 corpses float in the Bay of Blood. All right,
Oh,
General Mangs.
Giving away the ghost on the body count there.
Yeah, damn.
13 murders, guaranteed.
I mean, if we're spoiling it for you at this point, I mean, this has been out a long time.
It's been, yeah.
50
long
years.
But this is
enough.
not this. It's not Jaws. It's,
You know,
this is
I
not
was
a
gonna-
movie that everyone will have seen.
I was going to watch this movie called A Bay of Blood, and I didn't think there was going to be any murders in it. So,
Not 13.
I assumed it was a term of art. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not really a.
General Mangs, had you seen this movie before, and would you recommend people check it out? Randy, kick us off.
I had not seen this before. I actually knew nothing about this. I had to kind of surmise things as I watched. Yeah, I guess for big slasher fans, for big horror fans, I would recommend this. For general audiences, I don't at least general audiences in America, I don't know how much they're going to get out of this unless they're looking at it from a historical perspective. That's where I'm at with it.
Gotcha. Juice.
This is a very particular flavor, and so I would recommend, if this sounds interesting to you, check it out. A blend of Giallo, slasher, a blend of Giallo, slasher, and Scooby-Doo. If that sounds interesting to you, check this shit out, because those are the vibes it was giving me, which is not things that usually go together a lot. That's my Sea-Doo vibe. Hello.
Randy's riding the vibe.
So,
yeah.
and we're gonna get into some things about, historical influence of this and everything like that, which I think are particularly interesting. So, I would recommend in a general sense, but not a strong recommend. It's a very particular flavor, and the time it came out has a lot to do with that as well. Bob,
Yo.
would you recommend people check out A Bay of Blood, also known as Carnage, also known as, on your box it says what, Bloodbath?
Bloodbath, also known as Twitch of the Death Nerve.
Yeah, all kinds of names.
That is the greatest fucking title ever. I love that. I didn't know that until I looked this movie up on Wikipedia or whatever after.
Yeah.
Twitch of the Death Nerve is a fucking metal as shit name.
It is. That's pretty tight. Yeah, let me twitch that death nerve. Yeah, I'd seen this once before. I would recommend people check it out. If you're listening to this show, you're probably a pretty big horror head, and if you haven't seen this, I think you kind of owe it to yourself to watch it. This is like a very influential movie. I think it if you have an interest in horror history specifically, you're going to get a lot out of this. It's not like the most fun watch, but I think if you want to know kind of where a lot of the classics came from that you probably do enjoy watching, this is going to help inform you of that. So I think, I would recommend checking it out. Faux show.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Jose for picking this at this time, because it came out originally September 8th, 1971. So we're coming up really close on the 50th anniversary. And for a movie that's got some historical significance, especially as far as influencing just kind of the slasher genre, it really makes us look like we know what we're doing. When you set shit like this up. Yeah, the 50th anniversary.
That appearance is going to fade real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Nah.
Just, shouts outs to my guy for trying to make us look good.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for legitimizing us, Jose. We appreciate it.
Indeed. Sounds like a sort of a lukewarm recommend, generally from the Straight Chilling crew. Let's go ahead and drop the spoiler warning, and we'll get into the rest of the movie. Here we go.
Spoiler warning.
All right. I do have a plot synopsis typed up here. The plot sort of gets in the way of the story a little bit, so it might be a little tedious. I'll read quickly, try and get through all this.
You're just aiming at being Joe Bob in the future, aren't you?
Dude, it's true.
That's short. Just straight up plucking that nomenclature out of his mouth.
Hey, he's right.
Bob, be your own
He's
man.
right.
You know what?
Okay.
Come up with your own shtick, damn it. What
All
kind
right,
of food
Randy.
can we
I've
expect,
got
Rob?
hundreds of them you can borrow.
Thousands.
Maybe.
Let me get in this. Let me get all up in this real quick. All right. The movie opens up with an older wheelchair-bound countess by the name of Federica Donati. She gets hung by her husband, Filippo Donati. Filippo is then stabbed to death by the countess's bastard son, Simon, and the body is dragged away. We're then introduced to Frank Ventura, the real estate mogul. He's having an affair with his secretary, Laura. Frank and Laura planned the countess's death with Mr. Donati in order to take possession of the bay. Frank is going to meet Mr. Donati to get some finalized signatures, and he doesn't realize that he's been murdered. We then meet 4 college-age kids that are exploring the abandoned buildings around the bay, and they are soon killed by Simon after one of them discovers the floating corpse of Mr. Donati. Ventura eventually strikes a deal with Simon, offering him a large sum of money if he will sign the documents handing over the land to him, since he's now the rightful heir. However, the Donati's estranged daughter, Rennie, then shows up with her husband Albert and their 2 kids in an RV. Rennie and Albert are searching for a will, determined to take the land as their own. Ventura convinces Simon to kill Rennie, his stepsister. However, Rennie and her husband meet the Fassatis, who also live on the bay, and they inform Rennie she has a long-lost stepbrother named Simon. Rennie and Albert decide it's best that Simon be murdered. Rennie discovers her father's corpse on Simon's boat, and then she begins snooping around Ventura's house. Ventura attacks her, and she stabs him in the femoral artery. Mr. Fossati witnesses the attack, tries to call the cops, and he's then strangled to death by Albert. Rennie then decapitates Miss Fossati, just to wrap up all the loose ends. Ventura's lover, Laura, comes to the bay to hang out. She shows up and she's murdered by Simon after he realizes that she and Ventura convinced Mr. Donati to kill his mother. Simon is then murdered by Albert. Ventura shows back up and is finally actually murdered by Albert. Rennie and Albert are then the only surviving players, and they return to their RV only to be shot to death by their son with a shotgun, who mistakes the weapon for a toy. The kids think their parents are just playing dead, and they run down to the bay to have a good old time. Roll credits.
All right.
There's a lot of shit going on here.
Nothing difficult about that.
Yeah, I'm so this is partly on me. It might be part on the movie too. There were like 3 guys in here who I had a really hard time telling apart.
Oh my God.
Same.
Okay.
3?
So it wasn't just
I
me.
thought every
Yeah.
man was interchangeable in this film. Just
the
except for
bug,
Poodlehead.
the bug guy looked distinct.
Yeah, he
And
was
then-
the one.
And the guys, well, and the guy, I guess the younger guys who are teenagers.
The 2 younger guys,
'Cause they
were
mostly all
younger guys
stay
with different
together.
haircuts.
Yeah, but when people are like showing up out of the shadows and stuff like that, and there's supposed to be some twist about who's doing this and who this person is, I was like, which guy is that? I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
was having a hard
We
time.
also-
I guess,
like-
and the bug guy was easy to tell, I guess, as well.
That's
Facade,
yeah. I
yeah.
said the bug guy
Facade.
was easy to
Oh, I
distinguish.
missed that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We're like introduced to Ventura, but we don't know that's his name. And then we hear these people talking about Ventura, and you're like, who the fuck is Ventura? And then halfway through the movie, somebody calls him Ventura, and I'm like, okay, that's fucking Ventura the whole time.
Dude, that
Like-
was my experience with every fucking character in this
Yeah.
movie. I had such a hard time with this movie. Like, plot-wise, I honestly, it really hindered my enjoyment of the movie because I was trying, like, okay, this is a Giallo movie. I'm expecting some sort of murder mystery or whatever. It's not followable. It's not, I had to like look it up afterwards, look it up on Wikipedia to try and piece it together. And even as you were describing it just now, I was like, wait, who's this again? What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what happened in this movie. It's like the worst possible fucking Agatha Christie novel.
I was able to follow it, but I was like writing down people's names and taking notes like I usually do, but like really leaning on that to connect the fucking dots for this movie. It's not like you could casually watch it and really grasp
Even-
everything that happens.
Even the like people who seem like pretty straightforward, like I could tell them apart from everybody else, and I knew like generally like I could kind of understand their personality. I didn't understand why they were doing some of the shit they were doing. Like it
Mhm.
just nothing was really well like it, that above all really kept me from enjoying this movie to its full extent. I feel like.
They all want the land for themselves. Also, like when I read this was like a proto slasher
Like
movie.
who's killing who is like
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh
go
yeah,
on.
yeah. When I read this was like a proto slasher movie, and you put it on, and then you're introduced to these like 4 kids who roll up on a dune buggy. You're like, okay, so these are gonna be like our characters, and they'll have a good time and
Yeah.
slowly get picked off, and that'll be kind of the story. But they get dispatched real quick, and then there's more characters that come in, and then more characters that come in,
Well,
more characters that come in.
not just that, like the way they're introduced, like the guy who came from out of the trailer, I just had a really hard time, like, where did this guy come from? And there's some really cool things going on in this film. I do like the general vibe and flavor of kind of like the 70s and Scooby-Doo era
Yeah.
and the mystery going on. But I feel like the mystery is done a bit of a disservice by the way that the film is structured and edited.
Yeah.
So like, we get a really cool scene that's got this like nice style going in the opening scene where the woman is killed. Like, what's going on? It really does kind of set up that air of mystery. And then it is interesting to see kind of these kids come in, because then you get these fresh slasher vibes that like haven't really existed at this point, or like that they're playing with and intertwining, but it's intercut with this other kind of playboy guy who's sleeping with his chick. And then this guy comes in from the trailer out of nowhere. And also the bug guy and his wife, which was a weird choice too, because ultimately I didn't feel like that they served a whole lot of purpose.
They were the red herring.
Yeah, I guess. And
Yeah.
they did some info dumps
Some info
too.
dumps, yeah.
But I mean, I felt like that could have been done differently. I mean,
And they're like-
ultimately, I
what's
felt like
cra-
those flavor or they were a waste.
I
Those
agree,
characters.
because they were also two of the more distinct characters, like we said in the movie, like the bug guy and like the tarot card reader. Like they were two people that actually do stand out in a movie where people are blending like crazy. I had a hard time with this. Like I agree that opening scene with the older woman and having the kill on top of a kill, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to praise, first of all, like that, like the color in this movie is so vibrant and nice. I like that. I would praise the cinematography overall, but then there's also situations where dude does not know how to leave a fucking zoom button alone, and it was a little much for me. Very fucking
Yeah.
disoriented. Very much like
Stylistic
you are
choice.
watching a movie. You are watching a movie.
So about the cinematography, Mario Bava was his own cinematographer here because he had like a shoestring budget, like really no money to make this on. So like that crazy shit is him just playing around, like for the good and for the bad of it. Like that stuff I find kind of charming because it's very like, it feels like of the day, like of the 70s. I don't know if that's 100% true for like the rest of his movies, or if he just was trying it out this one time because he's the cinematographer. But the coloring in this movie is like really, really beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Specifically that intro scene, man, that's the best scene for sure.
That scene is the standout scene for me, and
Yeah.
it sucks because that means it all goes downhill for me from that point on. But yeah, I was not charmed by the zoom so much. I can see what your point, but to me, it was very distracting in a movie that needed nothing extra to distract.
There were some
so-
other cool scenes. That one did stand out, and that's where I think the color palette stood out the most and stuff like that. But there were some other ones too, like God, I can't remember her name, but the woman who's cruising around with the guy from the trailer. I'm just gonna like describe these
Rennie.
people as best I can. Yeah, when she was, I think it was her, when she was behind this like door. And it
Yeah.
had this very distinct, like yellow glass on it.
Yeah.
And whoever stand on the other side of
Yeah.
the door,
Ventura
Ventura,
was-
sure, that guy.
Yeah.
She
One
stabs
of
him.
the one white dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
white guy won. She stabs him through like the yellow glass with scissors or like a letter opener or something. And so, you get this very vibrant
That was
blood that comes out. Like there were some things that stood out. Also, when not her, the other woman gets killed when he chokes her
Decapitated, yeah.
or whatever.
Laura.
Oh, sorry,
Um,
no.
Sorry, yeah. Oh man, this is gonna be
You're
tough.
talking about Laura.
Laura,
Yeah.
when
one?
he's confronting her,
Ventura's side piece, Laura.
the main
Okay,
squeeze.
blonde woman.
Yeah, blonde
yeah.
one. When she gets
That is not main
choked-
squeeze. She's the side piece. Yeah,
Well,
go ahead.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
When she gets
Doesn't
choked and like
matter.
murdered, that I don't know, that was kind of a powerful scene to me
Mhm, yeah.
because she like really struggled and it felt like this brutality. It just like, I guess in a time where there weren't like these slasher tropes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The kills in this were this very interesting hodgepodge of what I think now as tropes, but they come from different subgenres. So obviously we get some of the ones that slashers ended up paying tribute to, like the machete to the head,
Oh yeah.
the like harpoon-esque thing through the bed of two
The
people.
skewer kill.
Yeah. But then
Yeah.
also when this woman, she's
kebab.
just getting choked and it's
Mhm.
brutal and it's kind of like in your face and her legs are choked. She's like, sure. I was like, man, that's
That
a
reminds me-
different vibe than the other two,
That reminds me of some like latter day Friday the 13th movies where Jason's got his cabin set up and he like, gets very physical
Yeah.
with people in his cabin like that.
That's true.
Doesn't necessarily choke him, but he'll do like his head crush move and all that stuff. Yeah, I was getting some Friday the 13th vibes from there.
Oh,
anyway.
there's a lot of Friday the 13th vibes,
Yeah.
certainly from that skewer kill. But yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know, man. Like, I think that the kills are diverse. as things went along, I realized, okay, so this is made in 71. This has got to be like, I didn't know this in advance. I surmised that this was like, okay, so this is influential for slashers. That's what's happening here. That's got to be why this is so, this was chosen. It's got to be why it's notable. And I think that's true. Probably the most, am I wrong in saying from what you guys have seen that that's probably the most, I don't know, that's
Yeah.
like the most iconic thing about it?
Yeah, it's influence on the slasher genre.
Influence.
genre
Okay.
yeah.
And on that level, I really dig that. And, I think that's fucking great. I think like, it's obvious to see that they, that people making slashers cribbed a lot of stuff from this. But in terms of the story itself and trying to keep track of everything and just feeling any sort of investment towards the characters, I didn't even get like that. I think this is why slashers, as time went on, eventually the people became more and more just like cardboard cutout people for dispatch later, as opposed to in this movie where they kind of try and give each character like more like some sort of secret motive and some sort of secret to discover and all this sort of thing. They don't really do, or at least for a while, slashers just didn't bother with that, because the important thing is that you get right away, you get the archetype. You don't have to think too hard about who these people are or what their intentions are, because somebody's just going to come and kill them anyway. It gives you the license to, let that stuff sort of speak for itself. It's like a shorthand that is developed later on in slashers and subverted many, many times, of course. But in this movie, it makes it difficult for me to, even just having an archetype of a character. So like having like the virginal girl and the sexy girl trying to get laid or whatever, and the guy, the cooter, and everybody else. Having those things makes it really easy to just jump in and be like, okay, this is our cast of characters. How are they going to get fucked with? We know generally how this kind of character might act and what their general motivations might be. We have to kind of figure that all out for each character in this big movie of a lot of fucking characters that keep just getting piled on top. And it makes it like less rewarding for me, like watching those kills, because I don't even have that bare bones investment. What I see for these characters is mostly just like, okay, this person whose intentions I'm not really clear on, who's doing things that I'm not really understanding, is getting killed. Okay. Like it just it didn't really work that well for me.
It doesn't help that just about everybody in this movie is also a greedy murderer. Like if you're trying to find somebody to really root for, you're having a hard time. It turns out that the only people that don't kill anybody are the Fasades, and they're the red herring, and you think they're the killer, so you're not really rooting for them anyway until they get murdered. You find out they're trying to call the cops and do the right thing and stuff. But it's sort of hard to place yourself in this movie. You're very much out of it because there's nobody that you can really attach yourself to while you're watching it. Which
that's a good point.
Makes it even more difficult to follow because you don't have like a central focus point as you're going through the story. It's
you don't have an
all over the
insert
place.
character at all, or not an insert, but like you don't have a point of view character. Like every scene seems to introduce a new point of view character, and within a few scenes, that person is dead, and you are like introduced or reintroduced somebody. Like the secretary woman, I thought that was just like she was only in the first part of the movie. They introduce her as like she's the side piece who wants more from Frank Ventura or whoever that was, and then I think that's all just there to show what a badass, womanizing, capitalist piece of shit he is.
Yeah.
That's trying to like take over this family's estate or whatever else. Like I thought that was all she was, but then she comes back and she's like an integral part of the story in ways I still don't get. Like,
yeah, she
working two angles, and she has to tell the story partway through, and then has to tell it again or something, and then has to fight for her life like 3 times or some shit. It's just a lot. It's just a lot.
It is a lot. Her and Ventura talk Mr. Donati into killing his wife, and then he's then killed by Simon, and then they sort of swindle Simon into killing off everybody else because they're going to give him a chunk of change, but then he finds out that Ventura and Laura were behind talking Mr. Donati into killing his mother, so then he turns on them. It's like a fucking tangled web of lies, man. It's hard to follow.
Not just the tangle. So we're already confused by the people, like who's who and why do they matter to this property, to this family, to everything going on. How are they relating, like as far as lovers, and all the relationships get tangled up in that just general confusion. But also too, I didn't particularly like the way that the flashbacks were done because it all kind of happened at the
Yeah.
end, you know. And I didn't like that. That I think that added to the confusion for me as well, because we're talking about people we saw in the very first scene. Like, oh, you know, even when they find the guy's, you know, body on the boat and stuff like that, it's like, oh yeah, okay, that guy. But they're all just names at this point, and it's hard.
Mhm.
It's hard to tie anything to just general names. And at that point, his face is all bloated and like squids crawling over and stuff like that. I mean, so it's just, I think it's just set up in very confusing ways from a structural standpoint that makes it hard to care about the mystery aspect, which I think is unfortunate. Because I can see like this, again, like this Scooby-Doo aspect kind of going on that I find intriguing. I kind of want to know what the motivations of these people are and why they're doing these things, but it just makes it so difficult that I just get confused.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough to invest in anything when every character is fleeting, every intention is obscured by a couple layers of untold secrets later to come that are going to be told in ways that are themselves kind of confusing. It's just too many layers of confusion to really find me invested in anything except for the visuals for this movie. And even things like the audio in this movie, I maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I did not like the soundtrack in this movie. And I don't know, I didn't get a blue, I guess I can see where you're coming from with the Scooby-Doo vibes. But I definitely didn't get that. The teenagers or whatever, the college kids, the young people, were the closest thing to that, and that was like they were like cartoon characters themselves, but the rest of the characters in this were too confusing for me to even ascribe cartoonish attributes to them. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's necessarily for me. There was this, I think it was that first scene and how it's so stylized because you did have those vibrant colors. Also the setting of this movie and also the timing. It actually, this is something weird. I'm kind of like learning about myself a little bit.
Oh boy.
Well,
oh dear.
This kind of era, and I don't know if it has something to do with like the kind of nautical themes that go on in this too, but like it's the time this was shot because it's got this kind of like the way the film looks. Yeah, the hazy look. It kind of reminds me of that segment from Creepshow where the guy kills his wife and her lover or whatever, you know.
Leslie Nielsen bit with the
where it's like
sand,
nautical themed and they come back from it's kind of got that same kind of like haze over it. I think it's like it's a specific aesthetic look, and I know it comes from this time, I think.
It's like petroleum jelly on the lens.
I like it, and I specifically like it paired with nautical themes, apparently, because it likes those two like pair together well for me. And so I like the opening scene and the setting and those things, that mystery surrounding it kind of reminded me of Scooby-Doo, because often in Scooby-Doo, you know, you'll see him in like there's a haze going on, a foggy kind of place.
They're
it's
always
got like
in an abandoned something, theme park, mansion, town, ghost town, or whatever. This is kind of a
setting
ghost
wise,
town.
I guess I could see that.
And the kids, they find themselves in an abandoned house, you know, like they are whatever.
They find themselves. Everybody in this movie actually breaks into houses. Is what's going on, and usually the same house.
Whatever. So
they stopped by an old abandoned gas station at first. Which when that happened, I was like, hey, that's a fucking slasher trope right there. They always stop at the gas station. Usually there's like an old coot out there telling them to turn around because it's cursed and they're going to die or whatever. That doesn't happen, but they keep lurking around and they find like an old abandoned club, which is really creepy and like moody. It's a really nice set piece. And then they break into Ventura's home, comes to find out, and it's like 70s out, like really swanky vibes, really, really cool looking with that glass door you already mentioned, Juiced, is in the house. So like the setting is really, really neat. When they're out on the bay, it just kind of looks like a bay. I don't know. It's not like really moody at all, but the buildings themselves are a lot. They have
the interiors I like. I don't like the exteriors of this movie really at all. Like not that I hate them or anything, but like they really don't stand out in any specific way. You typically, unless I was interior looking at some of those good shots of the interiors, I was typically just sitting there thinking or saying out loud, what is this? Who? It was just
Yeah.
like I was very, very fucking distracted in this movie. So like for me, I didn't get Scooby-Doo vibes because I'm never confused watching fucking Scooby-Doo. I guess that's part of it. And as far as like the aesthetic goes, I don't know that it particularly spoke to me the way you're describing for yourself, but it wasn't bad or anything. And I can totally see your point. If they had leaned into something like that, or this movie desperately needed like a Poirot or some sort of detective character for us to follow around, somebody who we can discover things alongside.
That's
And
true.
whose
That's
intentions
fair
are
because
not in question.
we don't really. I think that's a good point that I didn't think about until now, because there is no like we jump from different people and they're already confusing to us. We
Yes.
already don't know their motivations. We
So
don't
this
really
person
know their
doesn't know what we already
personalities.
know, and we don't know what this person knows. And it's like,
Sure. So it's hard. It really is hard as an audience to have a streamline like down the middle to walk with the story. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a really good point.
thank you.
Well made,
You
Randy.
did it, Randy.
I'm sorry, it's Randu now.
Randu
That
can
is-
do.
That is a hilarious joke, Randy.
Oh wow.
Thanks, man. You know, it just comes to me.
Yeah. I don't know where you're getting
yeah,
material, but I like it.
It's great. Just keep bringing it. Keep bringing it.
But yeah, I think I mean I really get hung up on this stuff because while I was watching the movie, I was hung up on it, and it's actually tough for me to recall a lot about the movie because of how much time I spent trying to sort through this stuff.
Well, there's one thing that we got to talk about, and that's the very end when the kids pop up out of the camper and murder their parents with
Yeah.
a shotgun.
I
That's
hated
true,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's understandable. It's surprising, yes, but it's like a very base, low-hanging fruit twist. Like, oh, they'll never see this coming. The fucking kids.
why
kill their
would
parents.
really
you
made
see
me
it
fucking a
coming?
little
Yeah,
angry
true.
because I dedicated most of my fucking time in this movie trying to figure this shit out, like I just said, just to have none of it remotely matter.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
none of it fucking matter. It was all undercut by this surprise ending that doesn't even fucking make sense. I mean, I don't know. You can tell when somebody's shot or not, even as a child. I'm pretty sure that kid was like 10 years old.
Yeah. And maybe they're just, I mean, as far as we know, the kids don't see anything that's going on around the bay because they're just chilling in the camper the
Mhm.
whole movie. But maybe they're just like, their parents are shitheads and they've been murdering people their whole lives and they're just used to seeing violence. And they're like, well, we're just imitating our parents. Let's pull up this gun and, shoot our fucking
Maybe, but
parents.
like, do they murder people all the time?
I don't know.
Based on everything I
Yeah.
saw,
None
I
of
mean,
them.
I'm
in
making
fairness,
leaps.
they seem to have no problem with killing people in this movie. Everybody kind
Yeah.
of jumps to murder as a natural instinct.
Yeah.
to,
Option
like,
one.
I don't know.
At
That
all
other
times, it seems like
white guy too from the trailer.
Albert.
He actually did.
he's a
say
little reticent. Yeah.
Yeah, he said I like killed someone for you or something to his squeeze or whoever he's traveling
Rennie.
around with. Yeah, sure.
Randy,
Um,
that's his wife, right?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes. They're
Good
married.
Lord.
They're
With
the
two
parents of the
kids.
kid.
Yeah.
Kids.
But I thought when she came to pick him up from the trailer, she was talking shit about the kids.
I don't know. Maybe she was, but
She was
they're
like,
hers-
we had to bring these fucking kids because you can't blah blah blah. They were having a
Yeah.
domestic
Okay,
quabble.
man. So many of these details of his
think-
characters I missed.
Yeah, but you're right though. He was like reticent to kill, and he was like, I just killed a man. We should get out of here." And I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
this makes the guy at least kind of have a character, kind of distinctive from everybody else from this movie who has no problem with murder."
Yeah.
But then like 2 minutes later, he's choking out a bitch to death just because Rena or his wife or whatever told him to. She's like, "Now get in there and kill that guy." And like 2 seconds later, he's in there killing a fucking
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Albert
So
kills.
he's not that reticent. Like,
Albert kills 3 people. I got this broken down, so I wouldn't forget. He kills Mr. Fasadi, Ventura, and Simon eventually.
Oh.
I just
Okay.
yeah, you're clearly very upset about killing
Yeah.
people.
And Rennie-
that's why you're
Ren-
about to do it again.
Rennie decapitates Miss Fasadi, cuts her fucking head clean off with a
Yeah.
hatchet.
So I like a lot of the kills in this, and during that specific scene, this is one of the pieces of editing I actually liked, which is when he cuts her head off. The kids also drop like a vase or something
head
that
of
looks
a
like a head.
doll.
Yeah, and it breaks, as if it were the head. That was a cool shot. I like that.
Yeah. I didn't love it, but I didn't like that was at least that was a choice, and it
Yeah.
made sense, and it was at least on a surface level of clever, an editing trick to be done. Some of the stuff, like Rob said, he said it seemed charming because it was just him playing, and then there'd be shots like that which seemed very intentional.
Mhm.
And I like the
Yeah.
intentional shots like just fine, but some of that playing around really kind of undercuts that too. This movie has in my opinion, has a bad habit of undercutting itself, if not in one way, then in the other. Anything that could be good that I could really latch onto as being good about it is eventually undercut somehow. The cinematography is undercut by the
Zooms,
the zooming
zoomies.
and things like that. Yeah. The tenseness of the scene or whatever can be undercut by the score. The characters all subvert at some point or another, and you're left wondering what the fuck like their intentions were the whole time. I don't know, man. It's really difficult from the standpoint of trying to watch a movie to solve a mystery, like a mystery movie, which is what this movie set up as, even though it eventually kind of like spawned other things.
Yeah, I think a lot.
I don't know.
of
Rob-
yeah.
Okay, I mean, you can go ahead. I was going to ask you for some Giallo information because you're kind of you're kind of the best read in terms of Giallo stuff. I think you've watched all of Bava's stuff, haven't you?
Not all of it. No, I've only seen a handful of Bava films. Actually,
Really, I thought you went on a whole tear with him.
Yeah, not with Bava. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think a lot of the shortcomings of this movie are specifically budget induced. I think he's a really talented filmmaker, but being that he lives like a writer, producer, director, cinematographer, I think a lot of that was out of necessity. That's why he was wearing so many hats. So I think he's just probably had too much on his plate, and so some scenes are stronger than others, and I think it's really just because like he probably didn't have much to work with at the end of the day. As far as like general Giallo stuff goes, I don't know, man. Like they're all generally somewhat confusing, and the plot is very secondary to the feeling of the movie and like the style of the movie. This actually has a discernible plot where like a lot of Giallo movies like just don't. Like you can watch them and pay close attention, and at the end of the day, like you aren't going to come up with motives for characters. Like you could not actually describe the story, but you can here. So this is more clear than some other movies are.
I don't know, man. For some reason, I like every Giallo I've seen, and haven't been many. I need to go on a little sojourn into the Giallo world more because I haven't found any that really speak to me. There's none that I can think of that are like particularly stand out as being something that moved me in some way. Like even on a surface level of, like you said, like the experience of watching or whatever, my experience of watching this was just like very, very baffled like by what was going on, and some entertainment value from the visuals, a few things that I laughed at or had a good time with, but some things for the most part, this movie was just like, it was tough for me to get my head around it or to even get a feeling from it because I'm so wrapped up in trying to get a feeling of it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I think I'm a little more favorable where I kept having these bounce back and forth. Like, I like this, I don't like this. I like this, I don't like this. And they would come, instead of coming back to back and stuff like that, it was more of like sections of the movie. So the ending is really where I really felt this movie stumbling and stumbling and stumbling, and it never quite caught its stride once it started to stumble. And it really was those, let's do quick flashbacks and explain things. But it was poor editing, in my opinion. And like, I guess they had done such a poor job up until that point that I didn't care what they were showing me. Like, I was already so confused. Like, but my favorite parts was like the middle section. So the opening scene was cool. And then we go to guy laying with this woman. That's fine. You know, I figure they're setting some stuff up. Then we get to the teens. They're breaking in this area and stuff like that. They get killed off. I'm all down with that. And even I like the little dialogue between Bug Guy and Octopus Guy. They're talking about like killing and stuff like that. Dude's like biting the octopus, like kill it or whatever he's doing. I don't know. And then like even the discovery of the body and the octopus crawling over, like, so that whole middle section, like from the beginning, and like the middle sections, I'm all down for. And it just starts to kind of fade and taper off as I'm like, well, wait, who is this guy? Who is that guy? And then there's this random flashback. And I'm like, why does that matter? So to me, it was very much a back and forth, but it was like a gradient. Like this film has a gradient of like intrigue and like cool shots and like cool atmosphere, and then it fades into confusion and poor editing and stuff like that. That's how I felt about it.
This movie is somewhat reminiscent of like a noir. You kind of touched on this, right?
Yeah.
Like a noir without a detective. Like it's just people being introduced, but like nobody's really uncovering the clues and putting the pieces together for you. You kind of have to do it yourself, which is frustrating and difficult for sure. But you know, that's sort of part of a genre that's, you know, it's not gonna make perfect
And
sense.
yeah, I feel like maybe Giallo just ain't for me in general. It's kind of the feeling
Yeah.
I'm getting from all I've seen from Giallo.
Have you seen Deep Red?
I have. It's
Yeah.
been some time, and I honestly, that's one of the reasons, because I watched that, hearing how great it was, and I can't tell you anything about it now.
Yeah.
I
That makes
can't.
sense.
I know what the cover looks like off the top of my head, but I can't even picture a frame of that movie in my head
Yeah.
right now.
That's a good benchmark. If you watch that and are just not down with it, then you probably aren't going to get a lot from watching other genre movies.
But then, like, is Suspiria and that sort of thing considered Giallo at all? I get
It's
confused
like-
about where the lines are drawn on that too.
people go back and forth with Suspiria because it's like very much about a coven of witches, and like that's not really what a genre is. But it's got elements of it. You know, there's like a gloved killer
Mhm.
walking around murdering these women, and it's like very
Well,
stylized.
Argento stuff in general,
Right,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
is certainly hovering around that zone, and I like that movie a lot. And I like, I kind of like, maybe it's a directorial preference too, because I seem to like his stuff a lot better than I liked this. And I'm looking through Baba's other stuff on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, and there's just not that many that I've actually seen. So I don't know I don't know the basis of comparison for what this is to the rest of his work. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I don't know that I could really fill that in for you either. What he did Black Sunday,
I see
Some
Lisa
Blood and Black
Devil,
Lace.
yeah,
That might be
Danger
all that I've seen.
Diabolic.
Yeah. I do want to like touch on the end of this movie one more time though, like when the kids pop up. That was something that, like, I know Tom Savini saw this movie before he started working on Friday the 13th, because a lot of like the kill sequences are inspired by this movie. So
Yeah, he's explicitly stated that.
yeah, for
Hasn't he?
sure.
Yeah.
And I know that he takes credit for the ending of the original Friday the 13th movie where Jason pops up out of the water. And I'm wondering if like this was sort of floating around the back of his mind. He's like, well, the kids pop up at the end of this movie that I'm already pulling from. So maybe we should have a kid pop up at the end of our movie, you know, and that's where he got the idea from. I just kind of kicking that around. I don't know. You guys think there's any possibility?
Maybe. I guess that they at least set up that he was a kid that was there. I feel like the kids in this movie, they're only in like 2 scenes, right?
They don't
I-
factor into the plot. They just
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah,
much.
so I mean, it could be. This just, I felt so confused and kind of like Randy, disappointed and irritated, because it was even like, oh, look, they're like the dialogue that they gave didn't even make sense to me. So like, oh, they're playing dead. Like, why would you think that? Why would you shoot your parents? Like,
Right.
there's no explanation for any of it. Like, why would, like, these kids hardly had any screen time. We don't know anything about them, anything about their motivations or their personalities. Why
It's
would
just
they
something
have
that
availability to a gun? Yeah, why would they shoot their parents? Why would they think that their parents are faking after they shot? It doesn't make a lick
know-
of sense.
And I want to that's what one of the reasons I wanted to ask about the giallo genre is because I remembered sort of part of this genre being confusion in general. It's like you said, things don't make sense. The problem is that this movie at least makes tertiary attempts to be sensical. Like, it's not aiming at nonsense, I don't think. So that seems extra shitty to me, to have your movie where you you're forcing people to think real hard about what's going on. It's not just about feeling, it is about there is a plot going on that can be deciphered, and then have all of your attempts to understand this incredibly convoluted plot completely rewarded by making it not matter and making you feel like you've wasted your time trying to do that. I just feel like it was a pretty fucking harsh way to go. I did not like that.
Yeah, I agree. This movie is asking a lot of its viewers, like for you to actually be able to follow the story, which does exist, and not everybody's going to be willing to give it that attention, especially because like the way the movie is structured, where they're just constantly throwing new information at you without any real context or explanation. It's just like it's damn near impossible to get all of it on your first watch without like writing shit down, because you are introduced to characters without their name, and then people are talking about that character, but you don't know they're talking about that character because you don't know that character's name yet, and you find out like 45 minutes into the movie. It's just like very difficult to follow.
Yeah, shit like that seems like no budget's gonna affect that negatively. That's
just the writing,
that's a scripting, and that's a scripting and directorial issue.
Yeah, and I think
for somebody as celebrated as Bava, I feel like I expected more. Yeah.
I think the dubbing throws us a curveball too. I don't know who all the voice actors were, but I feel like they probably had a handful, and those people did a couple different voices. So I think people kind of sound similar in this movie too, which just adds to the confusion of like trying to differentiate all the characters.
There's like so many 45-year-old white men with brown hair. There's so fucking many, and it's impossible to keep them straight on site, especially because they just don't use their names, like you said. In some cases, their relationships to everyone else is so questionable, and like, I don't know, man. It's just all part of the confusion ball, I guess.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on before we rate this movie? Good to go. All right, let's go ahead and rate A Bay of Blood out of 5. Here comes the moment of truth, Jose. Juice, why don't you kick us off? Out of 5, how you feel about A Bay of Blood?
Making it personal, I see. Boo.
Yeah.
What has Jose covered before? I think I asked him last week.
You did, yeah. He the prophecy.
Yeah.
And Friday the 13th part 4.
Okay, all right. So ups and downs. I dig on this movie somewhat. Like I've said before, starting off, I was intrigued and about it, and that carried me at least halfway through, and I appreciate that. I even got a sense of this being, when I first was watching it and we got to the teens and they started getting killed off, I was like, this is a pretty cool, in my mind, 70s slasher, and I didn't even know at the time kind of its historical influence, but I knew it was 71, and I was like, man, this is like really early stuff. I like the weapon. I like the kill. The girl is almost at the house and she gets caught, and it's got this kind of like hook on this blade, and she gets caught by the neck, and then the dude gets it to the face, and one girl gets her head completely chopped off. And I don't know. I dig on the kills and the slasher vibes of this. I dig on the attempt at kind of giallo and stylized colors and stuff. I like that the general look, like I was saying before, that kind of 70s. And then like the setting, the bay, the water. I don't know. I wanted to like this movie, unfortunately, more than I ultimately do, and that's like a bummer, because I was really ready for the ride, and had it stopped like 45 minutes in, I probably would have been really satisfied. I really didn't like the back end of this movie. I didn't like the characters of the bug guy and his wife or whatever. I didn't understand the relationship. I didn't understand them being in this. I got very confused, like we've talked about. The ending irritated me. It didn't make sense to me, and had it just been that, maybe it would have been an easier pill to swallow. But the past like 20 minutes, I was already getting irritated about being like, I don't know who this person is. I don't know what this situation is that they're talking about. So that it was just kind of like the extra bitterness at the end to kind of bring that all together. Ultimately, though, I plan on giving it like a 2.5, and I feel fine with that because I like half of it. I didn't, but also to be fair, I am going to give half star for those Yabos. So half star for Yabos. I wore the short shirt for it behind the scenes. Half star for Yabos. So this one's gonna end.
Juice.
Thank you, Matt. This one is going to end at a 3 for me. Bob, out of 5 stars, how you feeling about Booby? How you feel about the bear blood, Booby?
I think I'm a little warmer on this movie than you, Juice. It's definitely got some flaws, but again, I like a lot of the cinematography in this movie. The way it's set up with the countess at the beginning, with the really deep reds and browns and the long shadows. That whole scene is just like really beautifully crafted. I wish that more of the movie would have taken place around that mansion or whatever they were in. I think that would have added a lot to the movie, because when you get outside, it's just not very pleasing to the eye. I feel like they didn't have a lot of lights to work with. They were probably using a lot of just natural sunlight, and they weren't really using it the best way possible. It's just sort of a murky, and it almost feels like it jumps into a different movie once you get outside of that mansion. It's a little bit jarring. The way the characters are introduced, it's just done very ham-fisted, and it lacks a lot of grace, I think, which could have been fixed in the writing process. I think there was a lot of different people that took a swing on the screenplay here, and I think that probably adds to the confusion. But overall, this movie is hyper influential. The kill sequences are pretty entertaining. And it's cool to like see them and be reminded of Friday the 13th movie that you've seen since. Simon is like a crazy murderous lunatic who's got some Jason Voorhees vibes, which is just kind of neat to see. I like the characters of the Fasadis, who, even though they just are red herrings, essentially, that's why they're in this movie. They're very like well crafted, interesting characters. I wish I could say the same for everybody else in the movie. The setting is dope though, with like the abandoned club and the old rundown gas station. Super cool way to start the movie again. Overall, I think for the successes of this movie and the influence of this movie, I'm going to land on a 3 out of 5 as well.
Okay. Randy's face when you said that those characters were well crafted was exactly how I felt.
I thought they were interesting.
Here's the thing. Well,
Randy,
I'll add
out of
to that.
5.
Yeah, well, to kick that off, I want to respond to that by saying, yeah, like well crafted. No, I liked those characters better than others, but I think it's primarily because I could understand generally their archetypal purpose. They're a bickering couple with different interests that just want to undercut each other in every conversation. They're the Lockhorns. They're any bickering couple, basically. And I liked the Tarot woman because she also had a role as kind of like as the harbinger of doom, you know what I mean? So she had something of a role in that regard, even if she ended up just being fodder for the killer at the end of the day. I wish they factored into the story more than just as red herrings, because the other characters are not distinctive enough for me to care if they were killed. I wish that more of those guys were killed, and instead we had find out that the tarot lady, like, you know, sleepwalk kills or something ridiculous like that would have been better to me. I don't know. That's just off the top of the head. But okay, so yeah, I've railed on this movie pretty good, but I do want to add, and I want to again point out the things that I do like about it, and unfortunately they're kind of sparse for me. So the kills are kind of the standout. There's a reason that this movie has the impact that it does, and I think that has to be it. Like that's the big claim, if I had to guess, is that the decapitation scene, the skewering scene, the floating body, the machete to the face, all those things work really well. And there's just stacked bodies. There's plenty of gore and blood. And like, obviously, like if there's an impact to this movie, that's it. It's people in a secluded location getting picked off by a killer. It's not one killer in this case, and it's not even two killers. It's every killer imaginable, because it's using the format of a murder mystery, but the problem with that is it's not a coherent murder mystery and it's not displayed well enough for me to be invested in anybody in particular. I additionally for the positives, I do want to again call out that it has some great color choices, some really cool interior shots, and I really like those sort of things. And unfortunately, those things are undercut by intense zooming and really just not a very distinctive exterior situation, at least not comparably engaging to look at to the interiors. Again, the bad ending, it's just that ending is just like a kind of a fuck you for trying to figure this out on your own. Like it just kind of, it felt like I was trolled at the end of this movie. It's just a hard to follow mess in the plotting to me. And even if you could decipher it, I feel like there would still be inconsistencies and problems with motivations and why somebody would do X or Y or Z. But I'll never know because I'm not going to watch this again to try and decipher those things well enough just to see the plot holes that exist even within the text of the film. That's just my instinct on it. I didn't care for the music, and this movie just really, really badly needed to have a point of view character for us as the audience to latch onto, or at least some way of discovering information that didn't mean we had to keep track of who knows what. Like when we jump over to the blonde woman comes back, all of a sudden she's there without knowing anything, but then all of a sudden she knows everything, and so it's just keeping track of all that shit is what bogs this movie down from top to bottom to me. I think, to your point, Rob, earlier, I think it was you that said the minute that they walk out of that mansion in that first scene, the whole game kind of changes and it starts looking like an entirely different film. I think that's totally true. I think that was absolutely the peak of my interest when I was watching this, because that's by far the most intriguing and best looking and best directed scene. And it has no dialogue, and it's just well done. And I just wish the rest of the movie was like that. I wish I liked this movie more, because with its apparent reputation as being like sort of a trendsetter for the slasher genre, I don't know. I just wanted it. I wanted to like it more. I want to like it more based on that. But it was such a hard watch for me that I don't think I can give it much credit for it, or I can't grade on a curve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it's a 2-star film.
2 stars from Randu. Quick math is going to put our aggregate at a 2.6. Let's go ahead and jump to our Rotten Tomatoes segment. See what the critics,
baby.
We're going to see what the critics and users think about A Bay of Blood.
Certified fresh to death.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to ask these two gentlemen to guess what they believe the aggregate scores are for this movie on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's both critics and users' scores. So let's start with the critics' score. There are only 13 reviews here, so not enough to certify one way or the other. It's an older film, sort of a lesser known film in America, I guess, and so it just doesn't have a lot to go off of. So keep that in mind. Let's start with Bob. Bob, what do you think the critics of this film, aggregate-wise? Now remember, and I got to remind myself this all the time, it's based on how many positive reviews, not a grade for the movie.
Right, yeah, I got you. I feel like this is hard, man, because it is influential, but also it's like not, I don't feel like this is going to be a crowd pleaser for critics necessarily. This is probably more for the fans, I think. I'm going to go with a 75, please.
75. All right, Soju, what are you feeling on this one? Oh, you just playing fucking Snake? What are you doing there?
No, I was doing like, there was 13 critics, so I was trying to be mathematical about it. So I have my little calculator up.
I'm excited for your decimal point answer.
No. So
you're doing math still. Just say a number.
Dude. All right. I think it's probably lower than what Bob said, which was 75. I'll say 62.
62.
All right.
Well, all that math did you dirty, Soju. It's actually an 85% positive.
Should have picked my boys, the 86 Project.
Yeah, totally.
The 86 Project.
My boys.
Damn, Bob
yeah,
Helsky.
but
to
Bobby's
you
gonna
for
take that
Thank you.
one.
Thank you. Thank
That's-
you,
that's a-
Randu.
That strikes me as an incredibly high number.
Yeah, that is
but, yeah.
shockingly high.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's only 13. I guess it can be. The thing is, if you're watching this movie and reviewing it in today's day and age, which most of these reviews will probably be modern, I'm guessing it's because you already know it has some cred in some way,
Mm,
and maybe that leads people to be a little kinder to it, or maybe we're just not men of the people, men of the critics, rather.
same number
Um,
of reviews as there are murders in the movie. Coincidence?
Whoa!
Nah.
Sure.
Nah.
Yep.
Okay, Bob.
No, there's definitely a connection, and Rob's going to explain what that is. Go
I
ahead,
think
Bob.
there's a conspiracy here, Bob, and you need to get to the bottom of it.
Oh boy. Randu, continue.
Oh, okay. We have an audience score next. The users, there are 2,500 plus user ratings on this film. And we're going to start with Juice this time. What do you think those 2,500 users think? Are they positive about this movie or negative?
I guess. I mean, I feel like this is such an obscure movie that they're going to come out to support it. Give me The Boys Project 86.
Project 86.
Hmm.
Well, Bob, so you got The Boys. What are you going to do?
The Boys. Man, this is tough. I think it's gonna be lower than 86, but not like crazy low. Can I get like an 82, please?
82, please. You can. Well, you boys would have done better to go the comedy number because it's 63% positive.
Oh, Bob, that's a hell skeet sweep.
Hell skeet sweep.
Way to
Yes.
go, Bob. You really did it. You did it. You did it.
He's doing
Bob.
it. He's really doing
Yes,
it.
Bob. Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes,
Bob.
Bob.
Oh, good
Yeah.
guess, baby.
Mikey
Here we
really
go.
likes that. Mikey really likes the hell skeet sweep.
That's
Bob.
not Mikey.
Yes, it is.
That's my boy Randu.
All right. We're going to now read a negative review
It's-
because they are occasionally
It's
funny.
so satisfying to scream that.
At random. Here we go. A typically useless effort from Mario Bava. Well, this guy's going to get a real cat turd in his mailbox.
That man writes.
That's
for a
literally how
living.
it's. Yeah, that's the sentence. That's the
Damn.
whole sentence.
That's unacceptable. I just
Um,
spoke about this
yeah.
movie for an hour. Come on.
Yeah, we may not have had
Come
nice things to
on.
say, but come on.
Come on.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. This movie is I guess based on those numbers, critics like this movie better than the users.
Oh,
So
shit.
I'm thinking that a lot of people like us watch this movie with it knowing its reputation, and then had to sort of like just come to grips with the fact that it's a confusing mess. That's my
Yeah.
suspicion.
Yeah, I think
Are
so.
you okay there, Randy? What are you doing?
I got a kick
Oh,
out of
shit.
Come on.
I know it's killing me, but then Justin's laughing at me. Laughing is making me laugh more. Oh,
Behind the scenes.
Randy, thank you, sir.
Sure.
We sure.
What time is? Hey, Bobby. What time is it?
It's time for trivia.
It's totally time for trivia.
Boys, there's actually quite a lot of trivia on this, and it's all pretty interesting from what I've seen.
Good.
Friday the 13th, 1980. On Friday the 13th, Part Deuce, 1981. Pay homage to this movie by lifting two murders from it, one in each movie, almost shot for shot. The locations in all three movies also look similar. Argento loved this film so much. He had a friend who was a projectionist, like our boy Drew used to be, steal him a print of the film during its first run in Italy. The theater ended up showing Hatchet for the Honeymoon, 1970, to replace the stolen print for the remainder of the film's run. About a week and a half, according to Argento. He still possesses the print to this day. Damn.
My boy Sargento. He's got sticky fingers.
Got mott stick fingers.
Damn. Okay. The film's low, so this talks about something Rob mentioned before. The film's low budget resulted in Mario Bava being his own cinematographer. He had to utilize a simple child's wagon for the film's many tracking shots. Damn.
That makes sense.
Oh, radio flyer head ass.
Yes. One promotional gimmick was that every ticket holder was required to pass through the final warning station, where a theater worker warned you face to face that this may be the last shock film you ever want to see. That wasn't as interesting. Yeah, it wasn't interesting as that face to face.
Some William Castle shit.
Sir,
I gotta look at the.
This is the last chance that you have. I mean, this might be the last shock film you ever get to see, okay?
This is the last shocker you'll ever endure, man.
Boom. I'm just kidding.
This is
Nice.
Mario Bava's personal favorite of all the films that he has made. Let's see. This sounds strange, but we've been talking about Christopher Lee a lot lately, so I want to bring it up. When Christopher Lee first saw this movie, he was reportedly so disgusted at the level of violence he left the theater in protest. I find that hard to believe. I don't know
Me
why.
too.
I can't do a Christopher Lee. What am I even
That's
doing?
not bad. That's not bad.
Do
Suck it.
do Christopher Walken instead.
That's it.
I want to suck your soul.
Right out of your
Through your
mouth.
mouth.
Through your mouth.
This shit kills me.
That's my boy, Randu.
What's that?
Randu's here. I don't know what he's doing, but that tracking shot's a little shaky. Ew. I don't know what the fuck he's turning into something else entirely.
I'm gonna suck his soul right out of his ass.
Can you guys tell? This is
Okay.
this is the this is the expertise that people listen for, of course.
Okay. Let's get back into trivia. Reportedly has more alternate titles than any other movie. So we mentioned a lot of them. Carnage was one. The
Twitch of the
Twitch
Death
and the
Nerve.
Death Nerve. Yeah. All kind of what was yours?
Bloodbath.
Bloodbath. Okay. On Bob's Blue here.
Marvelous Mr. Giuseppe.
And I'm gonna leave with this because it sounds like, I don't know, it's interesting for a man shooting like grotesque for the time horror films. Mario Bava deeply regretted filming the scene where a bug is pinned alive.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that either.
Yeah.
I got a couple things to add real quick.
I'm
the whole-
sure you do.
The whole reason that Mario Bava started making this movie is because he owed a shitload of back taxes and was like, motherfucker needs to turn out another movie and make some money real quick, because
Yeah,
if
dude.
not, I'm
Around
going to
here,
jail.
that means big money.
Big money.
Just pay your taxes.
Just pay your taxes, Mario.
Come
Also-
on,
or opt out.
Mario.
Also, or opt out. Make
Opt
enough money
out?
to
What?
where you just they don't care. They don't charge you taxes.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Also, the bay itself was severely lacking in foliage, so a lot of like the trees and shit behind people were just people holding up like limbs and kind of like waving them around and shit. So yeah, super low budget shit, man. You know, he's using a fucking radio flyer for tracking shots and whatnot. So considering all that, I think the movie looks pretty damn good. Anyway, that's all I had to add. You know what time it is, boys. It's time to go hunting. Talking Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'. Gooder of the week.
Juice, what's a cooter? Why do we hunt him?
I'll tell you, this is going to be one of the hardest hunts in recent memory because all these people blur together. So we'll see if we can pick one out specifically. Well, Cooter is a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter. We want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, can anyone remember a character distinct enough to be considered a Cooter?
Do we have to go through all these fuckers?
Who's the guy
So-
with the main squeeze?
That's Ventura. He'd be my
Okay.
vote.
That's who I was thinking.
Frank Ventura.
Ventura. So let's say manipulation, right? Can we?
100% manipulation. Yeah. So like,
Sure.
he and Laura both manipulate Donati into murdering his wife so that they can take possession of the bay. So you got
Horn in,
manipulation
yeah.
right there.
Okay, yeah.
They
Sell it
also
off.
manipulate Simon. They manipulate fucking everybody. Also,
Yeah.
Ventura's got the sexual deviance because he's cheating on his wife with his secretary.
Yeah.
That's not chill. He definitely seems smug as a motherfucker.
Yeah. he
Oh, yeah.
does.
Like you just want to punch.
That's
that dude
why
in
I
the
thought,
face.
like, at first I thought this movie was setting him up to be the hero too at one point, and I was like, oh god, is this gonna be like womanizing piece of shit 80s action
Yeah.
movie style hero?
James Bond style.
yeah.
Shut
He's
up,
not super pathetic, and he's dressed stylish for the day. But that's 3 of 5 right there.
Yeah, 3 of 5. How does he
Simon.
go out?
How
Oh,
does
sorry,
he-
I thought we were moving.
Ventura goes out. Who kills Ventura? I got
Or is it in a
I think
pathetic
it's
way? That's
Laura.
the only thing
no,
I'm
she
kinda going
stabs him in
for.
the leg,
No.
and he doesn't quite die.
Yeah, and then he comes back, and Albert eventually stabs
think, yeah.
Ventura to death.
I
Yeah.
don't even remember that. Okay.
Yeah, dude, I don't remember it either.
So he hits high enough. 3 out of 5. He was the one that stood out to me.
Simon maybe would be the only other one I'd throw.
He seems
Well,
a little.
He's just more
pathetic, am I
brain
right?
fucked. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
pathetic. I'll go with pathetic because he's like
Yeah.
relegated to a shack because he's an illegitimate kid, which sucks.
Yeah.
And
he's getting manipulated hardcore. He's not really manipulating
Yeah.
anybody.
no,
but
I don't.
so
No, he's not. He's like kind of
pathetic.
like led by the nose the whole time.
He's wearing that turtleneck, which I don't know, man. Like if
I'm
you're
just
into
not a turtleneck
turtlenecks,
kind
Look,
of guy. I've
you gotta-
never
you-
seen
if
one
you're
and
wearing
thought,
the-
like that looks real good.
it's breezy
You
on
better
the
be
bay, I guess.
You better be Chris Evans or some shit to try and pull that shit
Yeah.
off. That's all I'm saying. And Simon
He's-
ain't that.
He's not very smug or sexually deviant, though. So I don't know if he's really gonna
No.
cut it.
I don't
Yeah,
think so.
all right.
either, but
Ventura sounds good to me.
Yeah.
That's
All right,
even
well,
kind
we
of
can
a
go with
cooler
a-
name.
Fucking Ace Ventura.
I'm just gonna point out for
Cooter detective. Got him.
yeah, yes, yes,
Thanks.
yes. Connect them dots, baby.
I'm
Um,
really trying. Yeah.
I was gonna say, as far as attire goes, like on individual basis, that one piece can go directly to Poodle Top. I'm giving it to him. He's getting a special award for that haircut.
Oh, you're talking about Albert?
Wow.
Albert with the hair?
Is that Albert,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
the guy who got the machete face?
Oh, machete. Oh, you're talking about the kid?
Oh.
You're talking about the kid.
Talking about the kid who has the poodle
Okay,
hair. He
gotcha.
looks like a human poodle. He looks like
Damn.
furry porn. Like he's
Also,
Am I
yeah,
crazy?
Some
Am
of
I
the
crazy?
Some of the teens are pretty, maybe cooter lights.
Yeah, they don't get
one,
enough.
That one guy who just keeps like
Hanging
whisking
around.
that one girl away.
Mhm, yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
Yeah. But that other dude's just like also trying to get with the
I think
chick,
that's
which is
Bobby.
weird. They're both weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's about
She's
it.
trying to horn
though.
in
She
there.
never like. It's weird though that there's
she's
a beautiful naked woman swimming right
Mhm.
down the river, and nobody wants anything
It's like,
to
I
do
don't
with
want to
that.
man.
swim. Yeah.
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 What are y'all doing?
She's naked.
Her name's Brunhilde.
Brunhilde.
Yeah. Good
And she's like,
lord.
oh, Bobby, come and fuck me. Ooh. And he's like,
Oh,
it's cold
Bobby.
in that water.
Too cold, babe.
It's like, dude, he can't get, what he's not saying is he can't get in the water because he'll fuck up the perm.
I'm the perm.
He's afraid of all them damn octopi down there.
He's
squirming
afraid of all
around.
the shrinkage in that cold water.
All of that water's full
Oh,
of shrinkage.
Bobby, your shrinkage is quite a mess. Ooh.
Fucking
This
rain
is-
do.
What kind of cast is this?
I don't know.
I
We
don't
gotta,
know, man.
we gotta keep trucking. We're gonna let our hair down. It's the social hour. We're talking about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
This is like a drunk cast, but we're not drunk. That's what this is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not at all. I'm like hyped up on
This is-
sugar, probably. But
I
Well,
feel
it's
like maybe
not.
it's the
Yeah, I'm very
it's the Bob-
sober.
that's the Jalo effect.
It's the
It's too
yeah,
confusing, so we just devolve into gibberish bullshit.
just maniacal laughter. We're fucking psychotic. Randy, what you been watching?
Randu.
Randu, what you been
Uh,
watching?
Well, I missed last week, so I do have a bit of a list here. I'll skip some of them. I finished up Sons of Sam. It's very good. And then I also just finished up The Confession Killer on Netflix as well, which was also equally mind-blowing. I thought that the two were more tied in together. Just somebody led me to believe that, or I misunderstood what they said, but they didn't. It was still very, very fascinating, though. And yet it's like two documentaries back to back where like the issues really seem to fall squarely on lack of good detective work, which is unfortunate. Two of the most prolific killers in history or whatever, whose cases were botched. And then on top of that, I didn't know this. I didn't know that Henry Lee Lucas. I didn't know that person before watching this documentary. But I realized midway through watching this, I was like, oh, this is Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. This is what they were basing that off of. I never knew that. And just as soon as they said the name Otis or whatever, I was like, okay, this is starting to piece together. And that makes a kind of sense, but
old Uncle Otis.
I don't particularly love that movie.
Yep. Your
Um,
relation
Unky Otis,
Yeah.
we used to call him.
when you sat on his lap and he showed you how to sharpen a blade.
Yeah.
Showed you how to make some fun crafting jewelry out of ears and shit.
Yep, that's the one. Uncle Otis Tool.
Yep.
Yep.
Made you... Anyway, yes, so those are both great.
Wow.
Trying to move it along. I did finish watching The Stepfather 2. It's not nearly as good as The Stepfather 1, but it is still enjoyable enough, I guess. I would say that it's very much a retread, but it's got its moments. It's got that lady from They Live, like the main woman from They Live is in it, who I think she's got like these electric blue eyes and or whatever, but she doesn't seem to have like any charisma. It's really weird. It's really bizarre. She's just kind of like, oh, I have a new husband now. I'm going to marry him. And I say, hey,
Tight.
It's just weird.
Tight.
I don't know. It's a weird thing. Weird criticism to throw in there. I've been watching The Wire season 2 still. Again, still.
Hell yeah.
I watched some episodes of Craig of the Creek this week, which is an amazing animated show on Cartoon Network. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's really fucking good. It's kind of Hey Arnold-y in its in its tone. It's like it's kind of like a Hey Arnold meets Adventure Time sort of thing, I would say. It's great. That's how I see it anyway. I watched The Polka King. Have you guys seen that with Jack Black?
No, but I'm interested.
Polka,
So that's up-
polka.
Yeah, a lot of that. So
He's a
that's
big
it's
and
apparently
Chevrolet
like it's based on a true story. To what extent, I'm not entirely sure, but about a guy who was the polka king. He won Grammys in the field of polka and all this shit, but he was also running a Ponzi scheme on the side.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
And Jack Black plays this character in such a humorous way. It's really, really good. He's really good at these really like just singular character pieces. He was great in Bernie too, which is kind of the same sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like he's really good at that. I love Jack Black, man. Who can dislike that guy, really?
Nobody. He's
Um,
incredible.
Fuck Jack Black.
Whoa.
I just don't believe you. And then I've been
Serious.
watching some of In Search of Darkness Part 2, which
Mm.
is, in my opinion, like people give that shit or whatever, and I see why, because there are other fucking decades to look at, dude. But at the same time, I am enjoying it. Like as a quick survey of a bunch of different movies, I enjoy that. And this one in particular kind of goes more into some specific topics, which is all right.
I wouldn't call it quick. That's just long as fuck.
Well, no, that's true. Well, each segment about a movie
True.
is quick.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like as a survey, each part is I kind of see it as almost like discrete YouTube segments you might see on a YouTube
Yeah.
video that are
Yeah.
just strung together. And it's good for that reason. Yeah, that's all I got really. I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay, cool. Juice, what you been watching?
I watched that first episode of Loki. It was pretty good. I liked how it was stylized. Again, kind of this retro time period is like a heavy like influence in it. I dug on it pretty good. Interested to see where it goes. And also on Randy's recommendation, I also started watching The Confession Killer. You know, see what's up with old Henry Lee Lucas and Uncle Otis. What's going on there? And it's interesting so far. It came out in 2019. It's something that slipped by me, but Randy's been talking about it for a little bit now and kept checking in with it on the side tech. So I finally started it this week, and I've got several episodes to go, but interesting so far. Definitely, the documentary is well put together so far. Other than that, I really don't think I've been watching a whole lot. I think that's about it. Bob, what you been watching?
Few things. I revisited Deep Blue Sea because that movie's just incredible. It's great.
Well, okay.
It's enjoyable as hell, and it's like a very summer watch in my mind, so I threw it on. If you haven't seen Deep Blue Sea, watch it. Tom Jane, the Punisher, he's punishing some genius fucking sharks. Check it out. I watched The Stylist, which was a new release. Arrow Video released this on Blu-ray.
Yeah, we did a reaction video for that trailer.
We did, yeah.
What did you think?
Finally got around to watching it. It's very stylized, man. Like the cinematography and the lighting, fucking really, really spot on. Dialed in, like definitely low budget movie, but you couldn't tell if you threw it on and watched it, man. It's just a really, really well made film. The acting is solid. The only thing the movie's lacking for me is like in the script department. I just wanted it to be a little more beefy. I wanted to know more about our main character, who was a hairstylist and also a murderer. I just wanted more from her because she seems like a very rich character, and they just tease it a couple things. It left me wanting a little bit. Overall, definitely worth watching though. Pretty cool. Solid new release there.
Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I also watched this Nickelodeon documentary on Hulu that is called The Orange Years.
Whoa.
If you watch Nickelodeon growing up, you'll probably get a kick out of it. They get into like the origins of the station. They get into like the CEO is interviewed like at length. And she talks about all these ideas she had and like how she hired people and like how she hired creators and just the different creators are on there. Like the dude that created Doug is talking about how he came up with Doug and shit. And like, it's just like really, really interesting to hear how all these people came up with these like crazy shows that I remember growing up watching.
Is the answer to that he was depressed?
No.
I always think of Doug as like the Seinfeld of cartoons.
That makes a lot.
I always
of
liked
sense.
Doug, but when you look back at it, it's such a weird fucking show that does like for a kids cartoon.
Yeah,
I
there's a
don't know,
lot
it's tough
of
to put a figure on why, but
there's a lot of dicey shit that they got away with too. That like,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you just really couldn't nowadays. But
did they cover Rocco at all?
yeah, they get into Rocco's Modern Life.
Yeah.
That shit is nuts. Ren and Stimpy too. Like,
Yeah.
Was that on Nickelodeon?
yeah, dude.
Was
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, that's just
original.
raunchy.
Intense.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go all the way up to SpongeBob and then cut it there because that's when like the CEO steps down, and then it sort of evolves into doing other shit. But like it takes you from the conception of the network up to roundabout SpongeBob SquarePants. They interview a lot of the creators, a lot of the actors, the child actors that have grown up and shit. They interview them and they reflect upon like working for Nickelodeon. They talk about the theme park at Universal Studios when they opened that up, and they had like a legit studio there where they filmed some of the stuff. They
I
had,
went there.
fuck it, me too. Yeah, they had Mark Summers head ass on there talking about Double Dare and shit.
Mark
It's
Summers head ass.
head ass. I don't know. I'd recommend the hell
Mr.
out of it.
Unwrapped himself.
Legends of the Legends
Legends
of the
that
Hidden
was
Temple.
Kirk.
But
That was Kirk something.
the Nightmare Society. What is it called?
No, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
That
the
was
show.
Cartoon Network.
No,
wasn't
no,
it?
Nickelodeon.
It
No,
was.
no, no, no.
Damn.
Yes.
They were bumping
If it was
back
live
then.
action in the
Yeah.
90s, it was not on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, good
Sure.
call. Good call. Yeah.
Yeah, check out The Orange Years on Hulu if you were a Nickelodeon kid. The only other thing I've been watching is this show called Dave that's also on Hulu. It's a 30-minute comedic show. It's this rapper, Lil Dicky. He's got like a show somehow. I like was generally unfamiliar with this guy. I guess
Rob tonight was like, "Have you heard of Little Dicky?"
I'm out of the
And I
loop
was
on
like,
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Out of the loop.
You
7
say that
years ago.
laughingly, but I don't have any fucking idea who that was until
Yeah.
he had that show.
Really? Oh my god!
I don't follow hip hop really or rap or any of
Yeah,
that shit. I
it
just
was
don't
more
have a
was
lot.
like
I don't
an-
have a lexicon for that.
It was more like an internet thing.
Yeah, I get he's sort of like
Yeah.
a self-aware kind of nerdy rapper, I guess. He's like, I don't know, a lanky white dude with like curly brown hair. He's got a show.
Yeah.
And it's called Dave. It's on Hulu. It's super funny. It's sort of kind of like Atlanta, like Donald Glover's Atlanta, where it's somewhat like self-reflective about like how he got into the music business. That's sort of what Dave is doing. So if you dig Atlanta, check out Dave. It's pretty funny.
Donald Glover just woke up in a cold sweat somewhere because he said that.
What's happening? This fucking Little Dicky motherfucker. Yeah, that's all I've been watching. We got one more segment to get into. That is, of course, our Hotline Scream.
Hotline Scream.
If you're listening and would like to call in and leave us a voicemail, you can do so at 904-638-3231. We got a few voicemails to play this week. If you don't hear your voice this week and you know you left a voicemail, don't worry. We're just holding it till next week. We got quite a few. First up, we're going to hear from Jackie B. Let's hear what she has to say.
What up, boys? It's Jackie B calling from Chicago. It's been a while since I called in, so I thought I wanted to kind of throw my hat in the ring for the prompt. I know I'm like a week late or so, but wanted to talk about my experience with not recurring dreams necessarily, but weird dream sleep habits that have been happening to me lately. One of which is I will wake up screaming or shrieking, which seems appropriate for the last year that we've all had. But the other day I had a really vivid dream that my dog ran away, and my dog sleeps in my room with me, and I woke myself up because I was sleep talking so loudly, or sleep screaming, I should say, just yelling, Banjo, that's my dog's name, just screaming his name. And I woke myself up and I look over and my dog is just like in the corner of the room, just terrified. So yeah, that's been happening to me lately. That's a fun little development. But yeah, anyways, really liked the last few episodes. Finally went to go see A Quiet Place Deuce today, and I was generally underwhelmed, but it wasn't the worst thing I've seen. So it's good to be back in the theaters again. Also, Randy, that fucking clown nose bump is just absolutely wrecking me, dude. I'm embarrassed at how loud I laughed at that. So keep it up with the bumps. Anyways, hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for all the content, and keep chilling. Bye-bye.
There it is.
You're welcome. That's a fucking horrifyingly sad story about your pup. I'm sorry about that. About
Poor
the
dog.
sleep screaming. I have had night terrors as a kid, and every so often I will have one now, but it's never really directed at anybody in the room. It's just me kind of panicking to myself. I don't know. I feel like if I if I started screaming my dog's name in the middle of the night, she would be pooping herself so hard.
She'd shit on your forehead.
Yeah, I've mentioned that people have told me that I've woken up violently screaming, like not in a scared, like in an angry sense. So
God
that
damn.
sucks.
Yeah.
It never wakes
I
me
want a
up.
full refund.
Never wakes me up. I just have to be told about it after the fact.
This
so.
steak is well done. I ordered medium well. I'll kill you. You fucker. I want a free blooming onion.
Dude, I can't tell you the last
Just yelling at
time
The
I've had a
Outback
bloomin'
staff.
onion.
Blooming
Well,
onion.
yeah, I
Mom
mean-
needs to take me out for a blooming onion.
Let's go, buddy. My treat. Shit. Thanks for calling, Jackie B. Hope your pup is feeling better. It sounds terrifying. Next up, we're going to hear from Mario. Let's see what he has to say.
How you doing, Straight Chilling Crew? My name is Mario. I'm from Southern California, like Boonies, California, like right next to Mexico and Arizona. I just want to say a couple things. One, I'm a huge fan. I've downloaded almost all of your podcast episodes from 63 onward on Spotify. That's all that's available. I will have to go to your guys' website. I do want to say a quick thing, though. Like I said, huge fan. Also, what was the name? Tom sucks ass. Batman and Robin suck so much. Batman Forever is awesome. Maybe not the best, but it is pretty up there. But yeah, man, I'm sorry. I'm just on my work break right now. Taking a quick smoke break. Also, I would love to have one of you guys on my podcast with myself. I'm doing a game podcast called Bias Gaming, where cuss, unscripted, no one gives a damn. It's just your damn opinion. Anyways, guys, have a good one, and please keep on chilling.
See, that right there is how you get the free advertising. baby.
Yeah.
To our tens of fans.
I'm going to go back in and just bleep out the name and be like, so you got to pay for that, motherfucker.
Make sure you turn up though the volume. You highlight the section about fuck Tom though.
About poor Tom.
I know. I really that voice not came. I was like, all right, poor Tom. Let's give the guy a break. Except he did bring this on himself. I mean, you know, when you call our podcast and you insult Soju, I mean, what do you get? What do you expect?
Oh, don't insult Soju. Don't do it.
Randy missed out on the drama. But no, it's okay. Tom just likes a different Batman film than me. It's the worst one, of course, but I mean that's what he likes. So.
We should do a double feature and just actually review them both.
Batman Forever. Dude, let's just do the
Hello. Hello. There. Hello.
Randy?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, did you try to do something?
Okay. No, my internet just completely cut out for a few minutes there.
Oh, okay. Damn it. It
no
like
reason?
messed
So-
up. Well, it messed up our in too. Usually, like if you cut out, you would just disappear. I thought you tried
Yeah,
to
that
do
was
some
weird.
kind of like login thing. Are you logged
no,
in?
no, I didn't do it.
Dylan, or are you logged into a separate one?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. All right.
No,
well,
I was just sitting there, and both my phone and
Okay.
the computer froze. So
weird.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it
if
wasn't
we're
Could be a Zoom issue.
yeah, if recording
Yeah.
cut out, I mean, it said recording again, but if it's two separate files, I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it there. I mean, we're almost done anyway. So
Okay. All right. Let me test the sound real quick.
yeah, you're still good.
Yep.
All right. Well, I don't know where you guys left off, so you just kick us back in, I guess.
All right. Yeah, we should definitely do like a double feature episode where we talk about both those Batman movies, just
Yeah.
actually review them and get into it.
I mean, we don't want to
The scary,
silence
scary
anyone.
Batman
We don't
film.
want to censor anyone, but I mean, you know, I'll be the first to say, Tom, you know, let's cut the guy a break. You know, it's okay. It's okay. Just differing opinion.
It is
I'm still
okay.
not even fucking clear whose opinion is what here. It's leveled in so many layers of
So
irony at
I'll
this
give you.
point.
I'll
I'm
give
just-
I'll give a context for Randy and new listeners. We had a Slack discussion one time where Tom was on a podcast and he actually covered Batman Forever and talked about what a terrible film it was. I brought it up one day in the Slack channel saying like, hey, I think this is a pretty underrated Batman film. Well, Tom happened to call in last week and leave a voicemail and say that my taste, specifically Call Me Out, were dog shit.
Randy.
He's singing Seal. So anyways, since then, people have jumped on the bandwagon. The only reason though too is because Tom specifically said that he liked Batman and Robin more than Batman Forever. So he kind of brought that on himself as coach. So
Well, we got to talk about them both. We'll figure it out.
yeah, that's the context
There
of
was
what's
two
happening.
great films that taste weird together.
They're fantastic,
It's weird
perfect
together.
movies. 5 stars, both.
But Tom, I got your back, guy. It's
Mhm.
okay.
Thanks for calling, Mario. Tom, we love you. Next up, we're gonna hear from Cole. Let's hear what he has to say.
What up, Straight Chillin' Crew? My name is Tyler Nadiger. I've been listening to you guys for about 4
4 or 5 months now, give or take, since like February or something. I don't know. I'm pretty drunk right now. I'm just feeling down and alone. I just wanted to call this podcast and say you guys do a fucking great and amazing job. And I can't get enough of you guys. Soju, Randy, and Bob, you guys are all fucking amazing. About to sign up for that Patreon really soon here. Hope you boys have a good weekend. I got to play a show tomorrow night with my band Warplot. And keep on chilling, boys, and have a good night.
Real mixed bag there.
All right.
Also,
Yeah, I think you might have skipped voicemail. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
That was Tyler.
Yeah, thanks for calling, Tyler, man. Hope you're feeling a little bit better. Also, thanks for signing up.
Yeah,
for
join
our
the Slack,
Patreon.
man.
Yeah.
We got quite the community there if you're feeling down and alone. Specifically, you know what? Let me give a quick shout outs to the Slack channel because my boy Tyler said he's feeling down and alone. Dude, if you're feeling down alone, join the Slack. This week, my pups died, and it was a rough night, and it was hard. And, you know, I sent out the picture and everything on the Slack. Man, if that isn't the most supportive community of everyone on there, you know, to pick you up, help you out, that's a damn good community we got on there. Great friends. So
Oh God, yes, come with
come
me.
with me on to Slack, Tyler. Damn.
With me.
No, but seriously, come hang out with us on Slack. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. It's super, super supportive, and it's a good time. A lot of like-minded folks. Also, thanks for signing up on Patreon, man. We got your shirt and stickers in the mail. They're heading to you. So hopefully they get to you soon. Thanks for calling, Tyler. Randy, do you see another voicemail on there that you want to play?
I do have one, yeah.
Okay, just whoever that is. Let's play that one.
Let's play it.
Good night, Bob. If I were asleep, I just want to say $75 because your ass is asleep 30 minutes into the second film. I love you, but I gotta go. Goodbye.
Yeah,
Man, that was the quietest I've ever heard anybody.
I
put
want-
on blast.
I want more voicemails like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's some production
sounded like
value on that. So thanks.
Some
Really.
alternate reality game shit going on here with that.
That's
Creep out Bob as best you can. Let's see how well we can creep out Bob.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really
let's
a low
do that.
bar, but if you can demolish it pretty easy.
If you can find a way to send holes through the phone, do it.
God damn. That'd be
Send holes through the phone.
Send Justin your holes through the phone. That's what he's
Send me your holes, says Bob.
That's not
Bobby
what-
wants your holes. Send me your hose. Send Bobby your hose.
Oh God. fucking Randy
The impressions this week are on point.
all over the place. I believe that was a creepy ass Kyle talking about me owing him money for falling asleep during Joe Bob. At least he played me some night music there while he was creeping real hard.
Did he say he owes you owe him $5 or something?
Like it's 55, so a lot of money that I'm not gonna send him. I don't know. I never made this bet. It's not a bet that I made.
So you're welching on a deal is what I'm hearing.
Yep. Randy, you got one more. Can you play it? Because
I
We
do
just-
not.
what?
I don't. You said
What?
we
This
had
is a
6 and you archived an
well-oiled
extra.
Machine. In fact, if you were looking for a voicemail
Randy.
on a behind the scenes, it
Play
might
the
not,
204, please. You didn't play that.
it might not be there because of earlier problems. Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, now I have to find it.
204 from Cole.
Yes.
Bob,
gonna
while
go
we're waiting,
ahead
do some
and-
cool impressions.
Hey Rob, can you sing Seals Kissed by a Rose?
You can tell is That's a fucked up song, right? Talking about someone's roses in bloom. That's like
Did you know the wind through my
Okay, what's the number?
204. Starts with 204 area code.
Okay, all right, here we go.
Fuck
Yes, bitches, I got my stickers in the mail. Pretty fucking pumped. I just gotta figure out what I'm gonna stick them on now. I don't know what's worthy of them. I just called kind of randomly. I usually, I should really sit down and think about what I'm gonna say before I call you guys, because I always just end up rambling about nothing. And I got some shit to say this time. Mostly my stickers. Thank you guys. That's awesome. I've been kind of missing in action lately because my second son was just born. And he was born with some breathing problems that led to digestive problems. So he was actually in the NICU for a little over a week. And since the hospital is so crazy these days, my wife got just discharged from the maternity floor. So then we had to go home without our son, and we were driving back and forth. So that's kind of all I've been doing or thinking about. But he's home now, and he's doing great. So I am in such a good mood. I got my boys home, and I got my straight chillin' stickers. I was thinking of putting, since I got two straight chillin' stickers, I was thinking of putting one on each son. And I haven't listened to your newest episode because I got a roof to do this weekend. So I'm saving it for that. So I've been going through a bunch of old episodes while I've been waiting and driving back and forth, and my only one person's allowed in the NICU, so I've been waiting in the truck for my wife, and we take turns, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just gonna rapid fire. I've just got a bunch of shit to say about some older episodes. I noticed Bob hasn't been fired in a super long time, so way to go, Bob. Randy, I really miss your your fucking nonsense at the very last second of the episode. You used to just yell shit out. That was always killing me. Oh fuck, I'm gonna run out of time, I think. I've been watching, it's so funny to see like the development of the cooter. Because you guys will talk about it and you're like touching on some points. A big thing used to be, well it still is, but you don't talk about it as much. The guy you love to see die, guy or girl. I watched, it was episode 147, Planet Terror. You guys were talking about having a cooter of the week next week. The next episode, I should say. So, it's just super cool to see, like, the development of it. And I just want to yell out, be like, like, I'm from the future. This is what a cooter is. You guys got this shit on lock.
And we done.
Damn, 147. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Since we started hunting cooters.
We've been on that cooter hunt for a long time. Yeah, thanks for calling, dude. Also, like, congratulations on having a second kid. Glad to hear that he's out of the hospital and y'all are doing well.
Yeah, I hope everything goes well with that, man, with the digestive problems and stuff. Sounds like it's going good, so I hope everything continues on well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Enjoy them stickers. Definitely put them on your infant's face. I hear that's really fun and
forever. Never take them
off.
That's
a therapy that'll help quite a bit, I hear.
Yeah, that's
we also have onesies for sale.
We literally do. You get a Straight Chilling onesie on our TeePublic website. There's a link to that on Straight Chilling.
You think your kid likes Yabos? We got a onesie for you.
It'll say it on the onesie.
Yeah.
Yeah. If your kid is breastfeeding, it makes perfect sense. Bam. Done.
Makes perfect
sense. Designs made by Randu himself.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, indeed.
And as far as the nonsense, I say, you're gonna have to be more specific, man. There's just a lot of it, just happening a lot of the time.
The Randy Stingers. He's talking about the Randy Stingers. The talking
about the post credits singers.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta stick around after the credits for Randy.
No, I guess I haven't done that in a while, and now I feel very put on the spot. But it'll come back. It'll come back.
We'll see.
When you least suspect.
Totally. Thanks for calling, Cole. Always good to hear from you, man. Glad you and your family are doing well. Again, if you were listening and would like to call and leave a voicemail, hit us up at 904-638-3231. If you want to creep me out, do that. Send your holes to Justin through the phone. Anything else, boys?
Send over your holes.
Yeah.
Still no advice. No one's seeking advice yet.
Yeah. Let us fix your problems. and stuff.
Don't let us do that. Legally speaking, we are not giving any advice.
We're licensed.
Not financial
professionals.
advice, but I mean,
We are not.
it's
but-
for entertainment purposes only.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Am I gonna be the fucking
Yeah.
Bud Light commercial disclaimer guy at the end of this episode? Is
I
that
mean,
the
even
stinger?
even though I can tell the future, it's only for entertainment purposes
Yeah.
only. So I mean,
Let us entertain you,
yeah.
and also
Let us
fix
entertain you with
your
some
problems.
advice.
With some entertaining advice.
Next week, we're gonna have Dr. Ruth on to field your questions.
Dr. Juice.
If you're having problems, Dr. Randu says you can do. Call in. Fucking A.
Bob,
Man,
you
you
sure are killing me this week.
Nobody's a bigger fan of Rob than Rob.
Hey, man. Hey.
Bobby, you're on fire, my guy.
Really just dialed in this episode.
I'm just imagining Rob like slowly passing into sleep tonight, just still chuckling to himself. Randu.
I promise you,
Get out of my room. Why are you watching me sleep?
as soon as this episode ends, Rob's gonna say, "That one was fire tonight, wasn't it, Juice?"
Up top.
I was really on point tonight, eh, guy?
Up top.
Phew, you guys having trouble keeping up? That's
Crack open a fresh Pepsi Blue Juice. Kick back and celebrate the greatest episode that ever was.
celebrate the way you do in 9th grade. Up top.
You gotta do blue. That's it for this week. We're gonna be back next week with a brand new show. As always, we're gonna be talking about our final You Pick the Flick from the second quarter of 2021. This one was chosen by Simon. The movie is Butterfly Kisses from 2018, I believe. Butterfly
Dude,
Kisses.
how many times next week? I'm actually pretty excited about this. I remember when he left a voicemail and talking about this movie and stuff, and then he finally got a You Pick the Flick and picked it. So I'm I hope I like it because he liked it a lot.
Quite a lot, yeah.
So I'm intrigued.
If you're trying to hunt this one down, it's on Tubi for free, and it's also on IMDb TV. I guess you can watch movies on the IMDb app. You can find it on there. I think it's also on physical media. You can pick it up on disc as well. So it's pretty easy to come by. Pretty much everybody has Tubi, I feel like. You can find it on Tubi.
Or you just go to the website, Tubi.com.
Tubi.com. Yeah,
You don't need it.
Butterfly Kisses for 2018. Slam your eyeballs into
Rigatoni.
it. Eat some rigatoni. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at STR8_chilling, on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. You can send us an email through our website, straightchillingpodcast.com. If you want to join in on the daily Slack channel conversations, just hit us up on one of our social media outlets, and I'll send you a link so you can join in on the fun. Don't forget about Joe Bob Live Watch Party Season 3 finale this Friday, June 18th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Send baby your hoes.